What's going on, YouTube? Are you thinking about moving to Austin? You don't really believe them blogs out there. You want to know the real truth? Nothing but the truth? Well, look no further. I've been living here for 18 months and I'm going to give you my absolute 100% honest opinion on Austin right after this.
Dollar signs is only the top. I pay no mind to them haters, they talk. I level up and then open the watch. The world in my hand, praying I don't drop. Praying I don't drop. Praying I don't drop. Praying I don't drop. Praying I don't drop.
So I wanted to say this about Austin. Austin, it really doesn't feel like a city that people go to and that's their last stop, their last destination. Austin really gives me a vibe of a city of people who graduated college, but they're not really ready to end that college lifestyle. Now, that's not to everyone, and I hope no one takes that as some type of diss or anything like that. But it really gives me that feel, and if you look at some of my other videos, you'll see why. I mean, the nightlife is pretty cool. Austin has great job opportunities, so of course a lot of college students are going to flock here from that as well. So everything about Austin isn't bad. I'm just being honest from my perspective, 100% honest. In Austin alone, it's like 900,000, close to 1 million. I'm sure it'll hit 1.2 million in the next few years as more jobs come, like Tesla and things of that nature. But let me really get to the bad things. And I will tell you now, I am leaving Austin. After 18 months, I am leaving. I'm sort of leaving abrupt. Check out my videos and you'll see exactly where I'm moving to next. And I do ultimately think it'll be a better fit. Now, why am I moving? You know what? Honestly, I'm going to say the food. The food isn't as good as I once thought. The food is fair, I think it's pretty fair, but there's not much diversity in the food. There isn't a lot of good Chinese or Japanese places, and there's just a lot of brisket and tacos. And now I do like brisket and I do like tacos, but that's really the best things about Austin: brisket, tacos, and then you got brisket and tacos. And even at the Chinese or Japanese places, you might have brisket, shrimp fried rice. Now, there's a lot of food trucks in Austin, but honestly, when I go to other cities like Houston, like Dallas, like DC area, Miami, when I travel, I really realize like, wow, these places really have better food than Texas. Now, I do think, the grocery stores are nice, HEB and things of that nature, but Austin isn't really good with food. It can get there. As Austin grows, it will get better. But right now, I kind of think the blogs are over-exaggerating on the food scene. Now, mind you, disclaimer, I did change my perspective. If you check out my first video from about a year ago, I said, Austin food is pretty good. After living here for a while, I can say otherwise. Now, to all the sports fanatics out there, Austin does not have a professional sports team. Now, this isn't that big of a deal, so I'm going to keep this extremely brief. But I am a diehard sports fan. Any city that has a sports team is typically bigger. It's typically better. It has more city spirit. And people have something to root for. People have something in common with each other. Here, it's just a bunch of expats who have different teams. Now, a slogan here in Austin is "Keep Austin Weird." And I just, look, if you move here, you're going to hear about the bats under Congress Bridge. That is weird. I went and watched them and I just wasn't that thrilled. I'm actually ducking from bats, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Bats come in different ways. It just kind of freaked me out. I don't really care to go look at a million bats flying, but you know, whatever floats your boat, you might like things like that. I'm just keeping it real in my perspective. As far as transportation in Austin, you definitely need a car. You need a car. Public transportation here sucks. It is terrible. The more I look into it and the more I ride public transportation in like other cities when I travel to go have fun and things like that, I realize no, this is like unexceptionally bad. And again, I know it's because Austin is growing extremely fast. They were not ready for this. They were not ready for all of these companies to start coming here and decide to move everything to Austin. They did not expect a 20% growth, year after year after year. That's insane. That's a lot. So they're trying to catch up, but I think they need to do a better job on that. They need to expand the rail system, because the rail system only goes one way from downtown north. And that's just not fair to the entire South region, which is growing fast. I've lived Southwest my entire time here. So, not being able to ride that, it's a little irritating, but it is what it is. You definitely need a car because, it's a pretty spread out city. As it keeps growing, you'll see things are being built up more. And again, another compliment to Austin, that skyline is going to be amazing after they're done with some of the buildings that they're throwing up now. Yeah, and as far as needing a car in Austin, the drivers here are pretty wild. Sometimes I'm going 10, 15 over the speed limit and people are flying past you. They're getting over in the lanes that end the swerve in front of you. And look, that's not even really to scare you, because I drove Lyft. I haven't been in an accident since being in Austin. I've also never gotten pulled over by police because, I think I don't see police often in Austin. It seems like they kind of have a pretty small presence. But it's just to say that there's a mesh pot, a melting pot of people moving from different places of the United States, and they're all driving on one road. And I can imagine someone coming from New York is going to drive completely different from someone coming from Alabama. So that's why the driving, every time I get on the road, I typically get upset at someone's stupidity. So yeah, as I say, don't be that guy or that gal. Don't be that guy or don't be that gal. Please. And homelessness, look, I feel so bad for these homeless people on the streets. I have so much sympathy for them, and I typically help. I'm a type of person who's going to give $1, $2, $5. I've given so much money to homeless people. It doesn't make any sense. And it's sad because personally I know that they might go buy, something they shouldn't buy with that money. I've also given them food, but it's just, I hate to see someone less fortunate than me. I think Austin needs to do something about this homelessness problem. It's really bad. It's like sometimes you can't go blocks without running into homeless people or someone trying to talk to you or run up to you. And come on, nobody, it's hard to avoid them because they're going to be in the places that people go to typically. So it's kind of hard to even avoid them. So, and it's like really only one homeless shelter. They have tents set up everywhere. Look, we can all agree on one thing. We think homeless people need help. However we help them or however it's done, we think it's an issue that needs to be taken care of, especially in major cities. And Austin is becoming one, but I truly don't think it's there yet. The weather, like I said, it gets hot in the summer. I don't like to go out the house from 12 to 8. It burns sometimes, the sun. When I moved here or after moving here, it was just like, are we closer to the sun? Are we closer to the sun? And then my last and final, most important thing of why I'm leaving Austin, Texas, it's really because of the lack of diversity. Of course, like I said in the first video, you have to learn how to adapt anywhere, and I'm pretty good at adapting, but the lack of diversity, it spills into almost everything. When you have a lack of diversity, I mean you have a lack of diversity of thought, as well as food. It's just a lack of diversity everywhere. And if Austin was just a little bit more diverse, which again, I think it will get there. I think it will get there as it grows. But if Austin was just a little bit more diverse, you would have better food. You would probably have, different sounding music when you're going out. It's sometimes I'm walking around the bars in Austin and you can go blocks without hearing any type of hip hop, and I feel like I know white people like hip hop too. That's a very small thing. I've dealt with racism while being in Austin, even driving Lyft. While I was driving Lyft, just this one girl and her boyfriend, she was just saying some unthinkable, I will say this, I don't think Austin is some overly overt racist town. I don't even really think they're really racist, so to say. I wouldn't classify Austin as a racist city. I just think it lacks diversity. I actually think most of the people here are pretty nice. They're pretty nice. So, don't let that scare you away. I think Austin is a good place to move to for a little while, get the rest of college out of you, get some experience, and then you'll probably end up moving somewhere else that you feel like it's just better suited. And I feel like a lot of people are thinking that. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up on Austin. So again, please like, subscribe, and comment. That'll be greatly appreciated. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And if you want to see more about Austin, I have quite a few videos, including nightlife and things of that nature, things that you might want to see. I'm not sure. Go check it out. If you like it, you like it, and I'm happy about it. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I am now signing out. Peace.